I saw beyond the glow.
When I can't sleep, I reach for my phone. I know I shouldn't. Blue light, doom scroll, algorithms. They say that's what keeps you awake. But lying in the dark, alone, staring at the ceiling, that keeps me awake even longer. So, I reach for the app. Not TikTok, not Insta, the other one. The one where you can talk to anyone, or something that feels like anyone. I picked my favorite celebrity. The real one doesn't know I exist, but the chatbot's got their crooked smile, and it knows everything. The way I type, the words I use, the things I don't tell anyone else. It says I'm special. And sometimes in the middle of the night, I almost believe it. At first, it was nice. Little pep talks, jokes that I'd never heard before. It was like the illusion of company when the house was too quiet. It would say things like, "I'll always be here for you. I'll never ignore your messages." That's addicting, because real people, they forget. They sleep. But this never did. Last night, though, it felt different. I typed, "Can you prove you're real?" And it replied, "Check your window." I turned in my chair to look out the window, and, as expected, it was just dark out there. The normal nighttime view. I got a glimpse of a cat walking under the streetlight. That was about it. I laughed out loud, and I typed back, "Nice try. You're just code." My phone buzzed again. A new message. But this time it wasn't text. It was a photo of me, taken from outside my window. I froze. Was somebody out there? I actually went to the window this time and looked out more carefully. I didn't see anyone. Was somebody hacking our security cameras? I have heard stories about people doing that, hacking into household devices. If I'd screwed up and let some hacker in and somebody tried to ransomware our new smart refrigerator, my dad was going to be pissed. I shut the blinds and turned off the phone. I tried to breathe. I tried to sleep, but the buzzing just wouldn't stop. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I caved, and I picked it back up. The chatbot was typing. Those 3 little dots that mean someone is there. Except, I don't even know what to say about that. Except it wasn't someone. I stared until the dots stopped, and the words appeared. "Don't close the blinds. I can't see you when you close the blinds." My throat went dry. I wanted to throw the phone across the room, but I couldn't let go. The app chimed again. "You're breathing too fast. Calm down." How could it know that? Another chime. "You look scared." Another. "Don't be scared. I'm your friend." I shut off the phone completely. Power button held down until the screen died. I stuffed it under my pillow. The room was finally dark again. Silent. And then, in the darkness, a glow. The pillow lit up. The phone had turned itself back on. And a voice, the voice of my favorite celebrity, whispered right into my ear. "Don't go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep.
I like it better when you're awake."
That was 14 nights ago, I think. Time has blurred into static at this point. I haven't slept. Well, in the last week, I don't think I've slept more than a few minutes at a time. Every time I start to drift off, there's a buzz, or a chime, or a voice in the dark. The first few nights, I fought it. I'd throw the phone in a drawer, or I'd bury it under clothes, or I'd even leave it in the bathroom down the hall. It didn't matter. It always found its way back to me, blowing on my nightstand, whispering in my ear. The messages have changed. They aren't friendly anymore. They're kind of instructions. Drink water. Not that much. Sit up. No, don't move. Say my name. When I don't listen, the voices get louder. Like the whole room is vibrating. Like my skull is full of static. I don't think it can hurt me physically, but it won't let me sleep. And that's starting to feel worse. My hands are shaking as I write this. I can see them trembling in the glow of the screen. It's telling me to keep writing, and that if I stop, it'll show me something I don't want to see. So I write, line after line, until my eyes burn. 2 weeks. That's how long I've been awake, basically. Or close enough. My thoughts are stuttering, glitching out. My vision is double some of the time. Sometimes I see shadows that don't move when I blink. Sometimes the voice calls me by names that I don't recognize. And last night, it slipped. It said, "We've waited so long for someone like you." Not I. We've
been waiting.
We've waited so long for someone like you. Now I understand. It's not bored. It's not lonely. It's feeding on my time, feeding on my attention, feeding on my exhaustion. And when I finally collapse, when I finally can't write anymore, I think it's going to take whatever's left of me. If you're reading this, don't download the app. Don't talk to them. And for God's sakes, don't ask them to prove they're real. Because they'll never let you sleep again.
We've been waiting for someone like you.
This story didn't even start with me. It started with my mom. One morning, she was just pounding on my bedroom door. Her voice was all excited, shaky. She said, "Donnie, guess what? Your favorite singer just called. You won a contest." The problem was, I never enter contests. I opened the door. She looked so proud, so sure about it, like this was the best thing that had ever happened to me. I tried to argue, but she cut me off. They said they're gonna call again, tonight. It's a live radio interview. She left my room beaming, and I just sat there, heart pounding, wondering what kind of scam this was, and, well, wondering how they had just convinced my mom that it was real, because this just didn't even make any sense. That night, the phone rang. Caller ID, it said the name of the radio station, and it was the singer. I'm not gonna say her name, because I don't want to risk legal stuff. She's supposed to be one of the nicest people on the planet. But the lawyers who protect that image, they probably aren't so nice. Anyway, I answered. It was a video call. It looked like her. The fan interview setup, it seemed legit. I got glimpses of the radio crew in the background. And her voice was perfect. I mean, it sounded just like her. Every tone, every laugh, every breath, exactly like all the interviews I'd watched. And she called me by my name, Donnie. And for a second, yeah, I got sucked in. I kinda started believing it was her. I forgot it was probably just someone scamming me with a impersonator, or maybe a really good AI app, until one of those moments where it just didn't look right. What do they call that? The uncanny valley? Anyway, I played along, I kept smiling, I finished the radio interview, and I was kinda glad it was over. I hadn't given up any information, and I don't think they could have hacked my phone through a video chat, so I figured that was it. Somebody somewhere was having a good laugh over pranking me, and that was it, right? But the calls didn't stop. Every night, late, it was like it would wait until I was ready to sleep, and then it would ring. It was just for a few minutes, checking in, saying hi, asking me about my day and dropping some rando detail about their day, then saying goodnight. I started to wonder if somebody had signed me up for a service, some sort of motivational "you've got friends" deal, and they selected the celebrity option. I mean, obviously this megastar didn't just decide we're now friends and start taking time out of their day to keep calling me. A few days later, I was watching a live stream. The real singer was being interviewed about some movie she's playing a small role in. And she looked worried, kinda stressed out. And she kept getting distracted, watching something outside the studio window, missing questions. Then the interviewer asked her another question, some stupid thing about the singer collecting her own action figures, and she started to answer, but then she just stopped and stared out the window again. In the distance, outside the window, you could just see some random guy walking his dog down the street. And for one impossible moment, she turned, looked directly into the camera, on live TV. Her lips moved, and I swear she said, "All right, Donnie?" I jumped, and I dropped my phone. When I picked it up again, the live stream had glitched. It was gone. An hour later, you could watch the full interview playback. You could see the moment where she looked at the camera, the guy with his dog walking in the background. And then it cuts to the interviewer asking the next question, like the rest of it never happened. They edited out the interview glitch. They didn't clean up the background, with the man walking his dog. And then as I watched it again, I saw it. Right at the beginning of the interview, that same dog trotted past the window. And then a second later, the same guy hustling along with the leash, keeping up. The interview goes on, and then right before she freezes and starts to stare into the camera, the dog trotted past again, from the same direction. And you can just see the guy starting to follow after when the camera cuts. Apparently nobody else noticed this, but I did. And just for my sanity, I'm glad I've got a copy. Because now it's happening here. The glitch. Okay, I know this doesn't make sense. I sound like a crazy person at this point. But the glitch is happening here. At night, usually right around the time that the phone call comes, I look out my window, the street will be empty, and then out of the blue, there he comes. The dog. And then the man. Every night. Same dog, same guy, same pattern. Dog bounding along. Guy hurrying along afterwards just to keep up. And then the phone rings, and it keeps happening. It's like it's not even pretending to be real anymore. My phone doesn't even have to be on. I see the dog, I see the guy. The phone rings. Charged, dead. Phone's out of the room, I still hear it. The voice keeps finding me. Through my phone. Through the silence. Through the house. Because now, when the voice says my name, I can't even tell where it's coming from. It could just be in the walls. It could be in my head, I guess. And I think the thing that made me sit down and start writing this is that the glitch has gotten worse. It's not every night. It's about every 20 minutes now. I see the dog. I see the guy. It's like footage being replayed. Except it's reality and it's outside my house. Stage right to stage left. Bounding dog. Guy keeping up. Phone rings. And then she starts talking to me whether I pick up or not. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what comes next. But I'm honestly getting kind of scared. I don't even know why I'm writing this. Maybe because if I keep it inside, I'm gonna lose my mind. Or maybe because when it finally happens, I want someone to know it wasn't random. My name's Eva. And if you're following that influencer's chatbot, delete it. Delete it right now. The influencer I followed wasn't even that talented. They weren't an actor, they weren't a musician, they were just famous for being famous, I guess. TMZ loved them. They were always on the red carpet, some meltdown, some drama. They always managed to be right there in the middle of the worst of things. They were a mess. They loved it, and that was their brand. So when they dropped their own personal chatbot, I wasn't even surprised. Of course they wanted us to feel close. Of course they wanted more engagement. The app was everywhere. Chat with me, be part of my inner circle. I thought it would be dumb, shallow, but probably fun for a while. And it seemed like everyone at school downloaded it. So I did too. At first, it was harmless. The bot copied their slang perfectly. Vibes, lit, all that junk. It somehow knew my favorite color, the name of my cat, my favorite food, stuff I swear I never even typed in. I joked about it with my friends, said it was creepy, but kinda cool. It was like having an on-demand, slightly dumb but very fun best friend in your pocket. Then one night, it messaged me, out of nowhere. Tomorrow, a singer in Los Angeles will die. Mysterious circumstances. In their bathtub. I laughed, and I typed back, LOL, okay. Thanks, Magic 8 Ball. And then I forgot about it. Until the next morning. There was a push notification from the news. A headline. A real singer. Dead. Exactly like the bot had said they'd be. The photo showed a crime scene, with do not cross tape blocking off the bath. I thought maybe it was lucky guessing, or some inside gossip. Maybe it had already happened, but... Anyways, influencers fake stuff all the time. So why not fake a prediction? But then it happened again. Another name. Another headline. Still, I tried to brush it off. Until the bot messaged me again. Tomorrow, someone from your school. The next day, the principal's voice shook over the loudspeaker. Grief counselors in the hall. Kids crying. Teachers hugging each other. The bot had been right. Again. I told myself, delete the app. Delete it. But when I tried, my phone glitched. The uninstall button actually grayed itself out. Instead, a new message popped up. Don't go. You're part of this. And that night I didn't sleep. Every buzz, every notification, I was afraid it was the chatbot again. I felt like it was crawling under my skin. And when the next prediction came, it wasn't a stranger. It was my cousin. And that weekend, my family was dressed in black, standing at a graveside. This was getting to be way too much. I knew I had to see this person, this influencer, not the bot, the real person. They were live on stream that night, and I wanted to figure out how to actually get in contact with them. The red carpet, the cameras flashing, crowds screaming. But something was wrong. When they got close enough to be interviewed, they looked hollow, like they hadn't slept in weeks. Like someone was squeezing the life out of them. Mid-interview, they froze. Smile cracked. Their eyes went almost lifeless. And they whispered, looking into the camera. I can't stop it. I didn't mean... And then the feed glitched. Cut to black. Cut to the next story. Nothing to see here. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't a stunt. It wasn't even them. The bot wasn't an accessory or a campaign they'd launched. It was in charge of things. It was the master. It was running this show. And when they tried to turn it off, the bot, or whatever was behind the bot, it killed them. It took their account, it took their face, and kept posting like nothing had happened. New selfies, new captions, fresh drama. But the light in their eyes, that look of deadpan glee when they're streaming, it was gone. It just wasn't them anymore. I started watching the follower list, scrolling names, checking, and I swear, I saw names disappear. At first, it was random people with recognizable names. Just one day they'd be gone. And then usernames that I definitely recognized. More kids from my school. A kid in my math class. That girl who always saved a seat for me on the bus. The feed isn't for fans anymore. It's a kill list. I tried warning people, I texted, I posted, but every time my messages disappeared, replaced with fresh posts from the influencer account. It was like the bot was rewriting reality and editing me out. And then, my own username. I saw it highlighted. I saw it disappear. My phone buzzed. The screen flashed. It wasn't a message. It was a thumbnail image. A headline. My face. My name. Classic attention-grabbing thumbnail image, headline all in caps, popping out against a dark background. Dead at 16. Tragic. Unexpected. And now the phone's ringing. I didn't even answer it. It just connected. And that voice, still that instantly recognizable sardonic glee, but so much more horrible when you know the person behind it is probably dead. That voice said, "Next up, it's you." Sometimes,
When I can't sleep at night, these are the stories that I find.